handle the truth.
Oh, hey, I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thanks guys so much for doing today. That's all, folks. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today's the day that the government said it's April 29th. It's a Wednesday, 2026. Did I say it right, government? Did I do it right? Are you guys still love me? Well, anyway, that's what we have for government right now. Good stuff to see everybody out there. Thank you so much for showing up. Appreciate you guys. Going forward in the world of things, we did have the King of England. Now, I actually was interested in this whole thing about King of England, and we're gonna talk about kings kind of today as our theme or overarching thing. There are 18 distinct kings, male monarch officials titled king, or commonly referred to as such in English. So we have, there are the full list of kings. Now, listen, guys, this is how many kings we have on earth. Now, when we have the Democrats who go out of their way to talk about no King's Day, well, the problem is that the very thing that they celebrated was a king in the chambers. Now, either they like a dictatorship or they don't like a dictatorship. You only like a dictatorship when the dictator does what you like it to do, but when you don't like what the dictatorship does, well, then you say no kings. Yeah, it's a whole thing. All right, continuing on here. So I wanted to give you guys a real quick rundown of all the different kings of the earth. King Charles, King Mohammed bin Asa Ali Khalifa. Cool. King Philippi from Belgium. I'm saying Philippi. That's actually the name. Let's see here. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. I want this, and I wanted this. Copy that. Okay. King Jigme, Kensar King Nordam Salamani, Cambodian. King Fredericks X, Denmark. X, you know what I mean. Roman numerals. King Abdullah II, Jordan. King Letsi III, Lesotho. I've never heard of these countries before. King Iberium Iskandar, Malaysia. King William Alexander, Netherlands. King Harold V, Norway. King Solomon ben Nagabagadeh, Saudi Arabia. King Philip VI, Spain. King Carl, Sweden. King Vajiralongkorn, Thailand. King Tapawao, Tonga. So if you guys are wondering how many kings are actually on earth and the fact that why is it everybody's running around no kings, but yet we haven't had a king and we don't describe our leadership as kings. We call them servants. See what I did there? Oh, yeah, that's a thing. So anyway, there's a lot of things going on. Now, do I believe that James Comey is guilty of a federal crime for simply putting rocks and says 8647? Well, guys, again, I don't like James Comey, but I don't think lawfare is necessary, and that's what we seem to be practicing a lot with. So, yeah, it's the whole thing. So he did turn himself in, and Alexander, James Comey did surrender himself. And so let's see if we have a bonding or how all that went. Cool shell formation on the beach is why he had to turn himself in. The U.S. Marshals were asked to provide Comey with an indictment, and they issued an arrest warrant on Tuesday. Comey is facing 20 years. And let's see it going on. Was indicted on 2 counts. Last Tuesday, Comey lashed out at Trump's administration in a video message posted on his Substack. Well, they're back, Comey said, this time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago, and this won't be the end of it. Nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent, he said. I don't know. Did he get bailed out? Is he free to... by the way, guys, remember that whole John Thune thing, the president of the Senate that I've all been telling you about, how I think he's a rhino. I don't think he's a leader. I think he's feckless. I think he's got a problem. No different than Johnson in the House of Representatives. Yes, I do believe that John Thune is that. But, oh, wait, it continues. Senator Majority Leader John Thune will block a permanent ban on central bank digital currency and any legislation the House sends over, and also the Save America Act. Yeah, no, they're not going to do that either. Republican Anna Paula Luna, one of the few true fighters in Congress, dropped this bombshell. Attention, John Thune has said he will not support CBDC ban and in any of the legislations he sent over, and he has no intentions of doing the Save America Act. Central bank digital currency could give the corrupt Federal Reserve and the Democrat deep state the power to track every transaction you make, freeze your accounts, even if you buy a gun or attend a Trump rally, and turn the United States into a totalitarian digital prison state. Guys, this has been the actual plan through COVID. This was the actual plan through 9/11. This was the... You don't think 9/11 was about this? Then you're not paying attention. It's called global power. This is the same technology Chinese Communist Party uses to enslave its people. As we've reported just days ago, we exposed how Thune stabbed Trump and the Americans in the back, refusing to nuke the filibuster to pass the SAVE Act. That's not going to happen, he said. He mocked the massive grassroots pressure campaign as nothing but propaganda by paid influencers. Now, here's the problem, guys. Let me give you something here. This is an article that should enrage us all, should have us all up in arms. You all should be freaking out, should be happy about this, right? Right? Should we all? But we're not. Nobody's upset. Nobody's out there banging nothing. Nobody's, nuh-uh. Is my, yeah, there we are. There we go. Hey, good to see you, Brenda. I am not picking up messages for some reason on my messenger, so I'm not sure what's going on here. So let me get this canceled out, quit that, and bring it back. Let's see if I can get it to come back in again. Yeah, I'm not seeing your guys' comments for some reason, so I reset my thingy. I got my thingy going. Got my thingy. Thing. Get the chat get this chat program to go ahead and bring all that in. Jeez, I gotta love that stuff. I hate how YouTube sucks the whole way, guys. I'm just tired of it. So anyway, so this whole thing with Thune and all this going on is not. It's just gonna get worse. But yes, they are trying to actually go into the digital control thing. That's what they're really, really doing, and it's absolutely a mess. So, oh, yeah. Anyway, let's continue going on here, and with the things. Thune just pisses me off sideways. It's not a thing. There was a big Supreme Court case on the docket today. Supreme Court Justice Sam Alito effectively destroyed the argument against barring the executive branch from terminating TPS for migrants with one question. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court heard arguments on whether the Trump administration could end temporary protected status for Haitian and Syrian migrants. Why are we doing protected status? Why do some people, again, guys, we talk about discrimination. We talked about how, we this and that, but yet we really, it's coming up now. I got it. So okay. So I don't know why they're set. Like some immigrants have better status than other immigrants. Why? Why do we do that, guys? This is why people think that they are special, because there is a special category and everybody thinks they fit in a special category, but the special category was for very unique special moments, not to use it worldwide. And this is what we're up against. Hey, Karen Walker, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So the Supreme Court agreed last month to review 2 cases, granted what's called the certiorari, before judgment. This refers to reviewing the case on merits before federal appeals courts can review lower district rulings. So in other words, they're kind of reaching down and grabbing it because it's something they feel like they should step into, which is actually really great. I think it's a good thing. So let's go ahead. Now when the Supreme Court is in session, you can only get audio. You're not allowed any type of video, which again, I don't really understand why it is that they're so secret, like they're so invisible. That's the part I don't understand. I always wondered why the Supreme Court seemed like they were this omnipotent. Maybe that's where all these judges get this godlike complex, because they all feel like one day I'll be in that robe. I'll be in the robe of justices, the Justice League. So anyway, let's listen to what Jeffrey... Now, Jeffrey decided he was going to say something, and then Justice Samuel Alito goes ahead and smacks him down. So here, let's listen in.
Isn't it the case that TPS was terminated for quite a list of countries? I can't seem to find the particular page of the transcript where the district court goes through them all. And yes, none of those is a Nordic country. And I don't like dividing up the people of the world arbitrarily into 3 racial groups. But you say they're all non-white, and that's the distinguishing characteristic.
That is the distinguishing characteristic that the district court held. But I would emphasize, Justice Alito, that...
But you think that if you put Syrians, Turks, Greeks, and other people who live around the Mediterranean in a lineup, do you think you could say those people are that all of them, are they all non-white?
I understand that Syrians, I think, may be classified as white for purposes of the State Department, or for under certain government programs. But again, I think race is, you'd have to poll the public to know what they think the race of a Syrian is. I certainly think they're not white.
Poll the American people? Do they think Syrians are white?
I wouldn't think that most would, Justice Alito.
Really?
I really don't.
How about Turks?
I honestly haven't considered what racial component I would sort Turks into.
How about Greeks?
I don't know the answer to that either.
How about Southern Italians?
Well, certainly 120 years ago, when we had our last wave of European immigration, Southern Italians were not considered white. So I think our concept of these things evolves over time.
How about Spaniards?
I think same answer. About 120 years ago, I don't think
Spaniards are white.
A really large, a really broad definition of who's white and who's not white. As I said, I don't like dividing the people of the world into these groups.
I understand. I would say that even under this court's rationality jurisprudence, if you look at cases like Moreno, it is not necessary for us to get strict scrutiny to win here, because irrespective of how you do the classification at issue here, under those courts, under those decisions, under those precedents, bare dislike of an unpopular group is a sufficient basis to find that rational basis is not even satisfied.
What? See, this is where I don't think that we all realize when we really start to run our mouths. And maybe this is what makes, guys, I'm not saying I'm not perfect. I forgot to bring my water down here. So I'm somewhere in the next 15 to 30 minutes or so, I'm probably going to be very parched. But that's okay. That's my mistake. I'm dealing with it, right? But when people run around and they think they know what race is, okay? And because they're distinctively darker than I am, meaning that they are qualified as a black person, or they're browner than I am, suddenly there is this group of people and then anybody who looks like myself. Now, the problem with it is that depending on where you really want to pull my lineage from, I'm white. I'm Scottish. I'm Norwegian. I'm Swedish. I am Northern Germanic. I am all North Sea. Okay, that's where I don't have any little brown in me. I don't have any this, that, or the other thing. I am straight white the whole way, right? So everything I come from is from the North Sea. By the way, the reason they wanted us all to do our ancestry and all that is because they were wanting to make sure that there was no loose bloodlines out there. So when the ascension comes, that only the best of the best, the 12 or 13 families, will get to have the authority in the ascension. And this is where they're wrong. Guys, let me do something real quick. Let me change gears. I'm going to do a little bit of spiritual talk, and I'm going to change how I'm going to say some things. I'm not going to try to use religious terms. I'm not going to try to use wackadoodle terms. I'm going to try to use something right down the middle. There are a lot of people in the political arena who have gone around and said, we are in the time of disclosure. We are going to hear it all. This is the time. Oh, remember the fall of the cabal. This is the time. The cabal is falling. The who's and has and all those, they're all going to fall down, and we're all going to have the Nasara Jasara of things. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Some Spaniards are Moorish blood. They're darker. Yeah, absolutely. But by the way, the more that we travel, the less our lineage is actually very effective. So the more the travel became readily available, the less that lineage became a thing. But also, women, you guys are the gatekeepers for lineage. You guys are the gatekeeper for keeping the bloodline pure. You guys are the gatekeeper for keeping the DNA of things, right? So you guys, male, females, you guys figure it out. Anyway. So let me go back to the beginning of the story where I'm going to try to stay on this here. And I do appreciate that, Linda, that you are here listening. Thank you for checking in. We don't always get all the stuff, so good to see you there, Linda. Thank you so much. But now listen, when we talk about the ascension, when we talk about the resurrection, when we talk about the rapture, when we talk about the end times, when we talk about the disclosure, when we talk about the 3 days of darkness or the 10 days of darkness, when we talk about, we're coming into a new area, when we're talking about the new golden dome, we're talking about the new golden era of America, we're talking about all these things, right? I want you to understand that there are a group of people who are very well connected, very spiritual, very into the numerology, very big into the astrology. They can predict exactly what the patterns of society are. Yes, they can do that. It is a real thing. I am not lying to you about 369. I'm not lying to you about the Fibonacci sequence. I'm not lying to you about the fact that these things come in cycles. I'm not lying to you about it because you can look it up yourself. And I have preachers who will go out and tell me that Jesus told them, but yet I'll have astrologers tell me that the stars told them. Then I'll have religious leaders tell me that God reached down and was speaking to them. And then this is all prophetic, and this is coming through the Lord Jesus Christ. And they will tell you that this is spiritual and that their creator and their provider and their source is bringing these information. Now, how are they both wrong? Because they're both right. They're both talking about their creator. They're both talking about their source. They're both talking about it in the way they want to reach the audience that believes the way they do. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, we've got a lot of low-level spiritual dark energy people who know all of the answers to how to be the light, to how to be the energy, to how to be the power, to how to enlighten people, how to make people better. But their selfish sin nature of their ego-driven heart will not let them. They know how to do it right. They know how to be selfless. They know that is the answer, but they can't help themselves because they have sold it away. But I will tell you right now, that I believe that even though you sell away, I don't think it's sold away. I think there's parts of you can sell away, and you can sell away, and you can sell parts of your soul, and you can give them that energy they need to give you what you want. And you can barter away and barter away and barter away and barter away. You could call it sin. You could call it the devil, the great opposer, Satan, which was the original Aramaic, the original Greek, the original Dead Sea Scrolls says Satan is the great opposer. You could call it sin. You could call it sin nature. You could call it blasphemy. You could call it astrology. You could call it a Taurus, an Aries, a Pisces. You could call it whatever you want. But the problem is, guys, is a lot of this stuff that we all keep telling each other that we're not the same, that we don't know what we're talking about because we're all different. You're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, he's wrong, I'm right, no, I'm always right. How can you be right if I'm right? See, if I'm always right, then I can't listen to you. If I'm always right, then I can't try to learn new stuff. I can't be discerning. And guys, I know I push the truth and I push for hard facts and I push. And it seems like I'm trying to always be right because I'm trying. I'm not right every time. I'm trying to be right. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to get people there. I'm trying to help understand. I want to get better. I want them to get better. But if we're too wrapped up on whether we took a piece of cracker and put it on our mouth with some wine, if we don't make it there for communion, or if we don't get there on Sunday morning, or if we don't do this or we don't do that, or we don't wear a towel on our head, or we don't put a hijab on, or we don't do this, we're never going to see the other side. You're going to the other side whether you like it or not. There is no choice. You will have to go back and you will have to review your life. And I will tell you Christians, I will tell you Muslims, I will tell you Buddhists, I will tell you Jews, you all say the same thing. So does people who believe in astrology. So does people who believe in Satan. They all believe that there is a judgment and that you have to figure it out and you got to work it out. No, we can't have that conversation. Hey, Irving, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. You're only human, says a Hope. Well, Hope, thank you. You are very correct. I am only human, and sometimes that is hard. Being human is hard. There is a lot of things, but here's why it's hard. Because we make it hard. Money has destroyed our ability to be creative. Money has destroyed our ability to care for each other. Money, the creation of money, currency, where people started using commerce instead of bartering. When people started using paper as a trust instrument instead of each other, instead of relationships. You had to know a guy who had cows to get milk. You had to know a guy who had goats to get milk. You had to know a guy who had extra cattle who was out there cutting up a cattle if you want a little cattle. Or you got to go get your own elk, or you got to get your own deer, or you got to get your own possum, or you got to get your own skunk or your own squirrel. See, guys, I believe. Thank you, Hope, for those hearts. That's wonderful of you. Thank you so much. And that's what we all should be thinking about, okay? As we go through all of these things, I do believe, listen to me, I do believe the most broke peasant on earth is far richer and fuller and closer to his God and has a relationship with the earth better than anybody else. I don't give a shit I don't care if Elon Musk walked right down in this basement right now. Someone let him in the door. It's supposed to be locked, but someone walks him in the house, his little entourage he walks right down here, and he just says, Jim. I'm like, hey, what's up, Elon? Good to meet you, buddy. Let me get done with the show here. We'll get back with you in a minute, okay? I would like to work for Elon because I would think that his ability to be creative and to be outside of things and all that would actually inspire and create and do all kinds of amazing things for society. That is my personal opinion. But I do not believe that Elon Musk is happy. I don't believe that him running around the world and trying to create Teslas and all SpaceX and the Starlink and all that other shit, I don't think that makes him happy. It keeps him busy, which keeps his mind thinking about how he really feels about life. But if you look at a lot of things he does, you do see him reaching back for the origins of things. So why is it that all these rich women go get mud baths, but then tell you how they have to have their fingers so warm and peroxide-y and warm lemon towels to eat their dinner before they start because they have to have fresh hands? Or they have hot stones laid on their spine. Or they have these salt scrubs or these sugar scrubs or these sand scrubs or these people walking on their backs and manipulating them. How about Pilates, where you're stretching your own body with your own weight, and you're doing yoga and you're twisting yourself all around? But if you had a garden, if you had chickens, if you had a goat, if you had dogs, if you had a few things to chase around the backyard, you had to pick up some manure, you had to shovel a hole, you had to pick up this, you got to throw away a dead chicken, you ain't got time for Pilates because you're too busy doing other things. You're thinking about this fall, what I got to be ready for the fall. See, I think about that in my property. I'm thinking it's summertime. There's certain things I got to think about for the summer, and I got to prepare for this fall. I got to be thinking about the fall and then the winter and then what we're going to do next summer. Do I need to make sure they got I got to plant some trees this year. I got to do some this or that. I got to trim some things back. I got to cut a tree this or I got to do that. I got the yard here. What about the house? What about firewood? But you know what building a fire does is shows you patience and cures you through infrared and releasing the sun's energy back into your body. But you can't do that at a nail salon. You can't do that while you're getting, oh, we're at a fancy Michelin restaurant. Guys, I've eaten at Michelin restaurants. You know what they are? A great big pain in the ass. They're not a good time. It's not pleasurable. Oh, the food is good. But it's all real regimented. It's all very rigid. It's all very, hey, can I not? Okay, cool. Here. Why? I mean, guys, I can go to Burger King and get me a Whopper without ketchup and be just as happy as some of the schmears I've had on my plate. And to be honest with you, I'm not a schmear person because I'm not a sauce person. I don't do sauces. I don't do Brahms sauce or Chick-fil-A sauce or, Urkagukadoo sauce. I don't do sauces. And I don't think ketchup belongs on a hamburger. I don't think it belongs on a hot dog either. Anyway. Dave Glovin says, you don't need Pilates if you're doing all that, Jim. Well, absolutely. But that's the point of it. You're in the outside weather. It's windy. It's cold. It's hot. It's rainy. It's dry. It's moist. It's foggy. And your body's out there adapting it all. You're walking around in your yard. You got your feet in the soil, your hands in there. You're doing all kinds of stuff. And guys, I'll tell you, the last 3 or 4 months of my life, I haven't been real happy because I haven't been able to do things like I was before January 1. I wasn't able to do things. But now I can. I'm back out there starting to work on a few things here or there, trying to do this, trying to do that. But the problem is, I can't go cut this one limb off. I need to cut off this tree out here because getting up on the ladder with a saw, 2 things. One, I don't feel like falling down right now. So if I happen to have the ladder happen to tip or something and I had to jump off, then I got to jump off with this. Well, I'm worried about that. But then while I'm up there yanking on the saw, doing this or running the chainsaw above my head, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. So that's a problem I got to deal with myself. But here's the thing. I'm trying. I'm pushing back against it. But do I believe that Trump, Elon Musk, Bezos, Joe Rogan, Dana White, do I believe that any of these guys are happy? Probably not. Oh, they can swipe the card and buy the Starbucks and buy a steak and buy an airplane ticket without thinking twice. But when's the last time you touched the ground? When's the last time your fingernails were dirty? When was the last time you had to clean dirt out from underneath your big toenail? When's the last time you stepped in chicken shit and it squeezed up through your toes and you didn't see it? And God dang it. When's the last time you had to carry a dead chicken to the trash can? When's the last time you dug a hole for a tree that you'll never have the pleasure of experiencing the shade from? When's the last time you planted a tree? When's the last time you dug a hole? When's the last time you were outside doing something other than sitting there watching a sports event, sitting there watching someone else? When were you actually outside doing shit? Stuff. Burning the paper in your trash. Guys, if you get rid of all the trash and you burn a little, like you get yourself a little chimney or a little pot, a little something or other, and just start burning burning that in there, you'll eventually have all that ash. You can use it for your gardens, your house plants, all kinds of stuff. You make concrete from it if you actually try hard enough. Dave Glevin says, what if they put ketchup on the Whopper? Well, Dave, that's why I order it with no ketchup. When I go to Burger King, I say no ketchup. That's the only thing I do no ketchup, add mayonnaise at Burger King. That's, for some reason, I like no ketchup with the mayonnaise and mustard on it. That's my thing. So, when do you, why do people condemn other people in hell? Hope Irving says. Hope, that's because they don't want to admit their own wrongs. I mean, literally, think about that. And I appreciate that comment, Hope. I don't think you realize how prophetic that is. Why do people condemn other people to hell? Because they don't want to be wrong. You go to hell, not me. No, you're the problem. I'm not the problem. No, you're the pedophile. You're the murderer. You're the rapist. You're the stealer. You're the fraudster. You're the... See, to me, I have to ask a quick question, though. If you go and you sell yourself out, is there really no way back? Is there a point where you sell all of your soul and you have none of you left? Which I don't think that that's possible, because if you sell all of who you are, then you fail to exist. Dave says, is that so you get grill order which is fresh? It was a trick I learned at McDonald's. Well, no, Dave, I just do that because they make them as you go. What Burger King does is they put a whole bunch of burger patties through their grill, and then they put it in a steam cabinet. And then what they do is when you order a Hardee's and Burger King, they use a steam table to store hamburger patties in. So that's why they're able to say, well, it's fresh, and then they're able to make it right away. So, but yeah, it's a crazy. Oh, Dave Glover says, I bet walking into chicken shit is the most is not on most people's bucket list. But hey, you never know until you step on, the poopy. So it's all right. Hey, it's not that big a deal. I did it yesterday, and I didn't even know I did it. I actually was out there. I was out there walking around, and I walked back in the house. I'm like, how did I get? So anyway, yeah. I was out walking around in the grass last night, and our chicken yard, we have a really great chicken yard, nice fence. It's all sealed off, but the chickens do fly, and they do like to roam the mountainside, right? So they love getting out into the yard. They get in the grass and the flower beds. The problem with I used to let the chickens just roam. And as we started developing and getting the flower beds built in and doing some this and that, it's like, all right, all you guys are going in there. I don't care. Get out of my yard. So I went down and bought a bunch of material and put up a whole chicken yard, and it's actually been pretty cool. We got a little pond in there where the ducks come in and swim and all that good stuff. So anyway, good stuff out there. Being told that you're going to hell because you're gay. Well, the problem is that that's what people want to do. I mean, I am not okay. Let's do this. We won't do so much of the political anymore. We'll continue on here, guys. When we think about how other people act and react, the sad part of it is they're just telling on themselves. And I had family members that were gay. I've been around it. Back in the 70s and 80s, I was around the early gay stuff, which was always just about getting married. They didn't get out on the streets and get naked and do all that stuff. It was just about they just wanted to be same. Which again, I was like, careful what you wish for, because now you guys get divorced. So cool that. Anyway. But a lot of it is, guys, is either the fear of the unknown or the fact that they really, how do I phrase it? Let me phrase this in the right way. I got to get this right. So a lot of times people will judge another person not because they care, not because they actually believe in that opinion, but because if they don't say something and someone sees them not saying something, then they're worried that they will be complicit in your crime. And so their fear, this is what I love about people. Human beings are so great. They will go out of their way to say, Jim Price, you've had sex out of wedlock. I'm like, all right, you're a sinner. And, they're all like this, right? Well, they only are saying that to me because in case someone sees them, they are seen as someone who believes in marriage or believes in the sanctity of one man, one woman, or they believe that, should be multiple women, one man. Some people believe it should be one woman, multiple men. So some people should be man, man, girl, girl. Some people should be, whatever. I don't know. But what we find is that when people go out of their way, and I'm sure there's a psychosis diagnosis with this, and there's a label, and blah, 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 and we got all kinds of labels, but I'm just trying to explain it to you here. That a lot of times it's people's own insecurities about themselves and their own judgments in their life, and they know that they're not following through with their own thing. And so when they don't follow through with it, they feel guilty, and they want to point out your sin so you don't look at their sin. See, they're pointing out your sin, so when someone sees them pointing out their sin, they're not looking at their sin. See, I'm pointing out your sin, not my sin. So if I point out your sin, see, I don't have to be responsible because so when people see me pointing my finger at you, then I'm not wrong, you're wrong. Ooh, they don't look at me, he's the wrong person. He's the one that's been divorced. That's what keeps you from being president. Do you remember that in the first presidential debate, that Trump was divorced multiple times or whatever it was, or he had a black girlfriend or didn't have a black girlfriend, or wait, the girl wasn't black, but she was black. Wait, he grabbed him by the vagina. Wait. You guys remember all these things? These were all these little weird morality things of political correctness, and I think a lot of political correctness started falling away because Trump kind of made everybody go, well, wait, I've been divorced. Why am I mad at him for being divorced? Oh, wait. Yeah, wait. What? Like, we're supposed to be mad at... He can't be president because he's... But, what? You see what I'm saying, right? This is where all this stuff and this morality of things where we all think that we have this ability to hold ourselves in judgment. I am always liking the curiosity of going, oh, I see why they're doing that. Oh, yeah, I get it. Cool. No, that's all right. It's what they're doing. They're just trying to survive. They're trying to get past this. They don't want to be known. They don't want to be seen. They want you to be, so I like finding out the reasonings, getting in there and looking at stuff. But I will tell you that the sad part of it is nobody's doing the work. Nobody's putting the work in. It's just laziness, really. It really is. The human nature is laziness. And that's what COVID trained us on. Guys, listen. They have leaned into our laziness with welfare. See, welfare creates laziness. Oh, I'm not lazy. I just still can't get a job, and I have 29 children, and I need WIC and EBT and government housing. What if it wasn't there? Why don't you treat your life as if it's not there? The way I've had to treat my life. I was a single father. I could not get WIC. I could not get welfare. I could not get help. I couldn't at all. Yeah. See, I actually, as a kind of because after I went through all my college years, and see, by the way, I went to college again back in the 2000s, early 2000s. And when I went back in my 30s there, I found out that white guys don't get Pell Grants. White guys don't get guarantees. White guys don't get, I had to go... There was because my credit was too good. I made too much money. I didn't get anything. So when I had to go get a business degree, I got to come out of pocket on everything. We can't have that conversation, but I have lived my life without the welfare. I have lived my life without the Section 8. Now, when I was a kid, my mom did get government cheese. My mom did get the government powdered milk in the laundry box. Remember those big Tide boxes? See, I always thought that that's what you got your milk in. Rich people had Tide. I had powdered milk. I thought Tide was a luxury. I thought those all-temperature cheer was a luxury. I didn't understand. I thought that was all stuff that rich people did. But what I'm pointing out is that when you create a welfare system where people don't have to try, when you create a COVID system where people don't have to try, we're going to slow the spread, stay home, you encourage people not to work, not to participate, they will. There's a lot of people out there got a lot of quit in them, and they will quit on you in a second. Like, they don't even have to, know they could quit. They're already pre-quitting. Courtney Allen, good to see you. Says, hey, fam, a little under the weather today. I think the stress and stuff is finally hitting in late to the game. Yeah, Courtney Allen, one of the things about stress or stressful situations, especially emotional stress, is that a lot of times your body will hold stasis until you move through the stress, and then that energy hold that you've been doing, it will release, and then you have all this wash of toxins. You have wash of energy, dopamine dysregulation. You need 5-HTP. You need to get your serotonin right. You got to get your sleep cycles right. So it's a very, very complicated thing about how when you hold emotion for too long, that the release on the other side is horrific. And get it in the sun. Courtney Allen, get in the sun as often as possible. Please, 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 please get in the sun. All right, let's see. Prayers to Courtney Allen. Yes, NYC is slumming. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the King of England went to the 9/11, but it looks like Mondandi wasn't really around much, so I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so I know NYC is slumming. I don't know if that's what you meant by that, but Glovin, not on mine. It's nasty. Ooh. Yeah, chicken poop on the foot. See, I walk barefoot through my yard, guys. I walk barefoot in the chicken yard. I don't care. I can wash my feet off. It's not a problem. I am a sealed unit. I have skin. Yes, its skin is porous, and it does allow for parasites to go through there. Blah, 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 blah. Gotcha. Okay, I'm also doing parasite cleanses every day of my life. I'm also doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do that you guys should be doing as well. So, no, I walk around all my yard. I walk on my rock. I have about 100 feet of driveway before it turns to rock. And so I'll walk out to the road on the rock driveway with my bare feet. Why? Because it's stimulating and because it's necessary. Guys, if you're not walking on hard rocks, grass, sticks, concrete, carpet, tile, if you're not interacting with the world around you on your feet to the ground, you are literally shutting off parts of your mind. And I know I'm not trying to that's not some voodoo whatever, but literally your mind, the part of your mind that regulates the touch of your foot will turn off because your foot's in that little slippery little insole with a little thing and a little binding and a little this and that. And so the bottom of your feet are just as impressionable and have just as many nerve endings what you can feel with your feet and your hands. Why don't you think that that's necessary? But we don't walk around with our shoes off. We don't get our feet hot or cold from the snow or from the hot sidewalk. We don't put our feet in the cool grass or in the gravel or in the dirt or in the sand or in the chicken poop for that matter. The thing is, guys, I've actually felt better about me and a lot of things in the world around me the more I touch the world, the more I touch and engage with the earth. I find myself in a lot better position. I find myself in a great mental state. And by the way, guys, if you want to ward off dementia, you want to ward off all kinds of different things, get in the sun a minimum of 2 hours every day of your life. 2 hours every day of your life. Period. Not kinda, not when you can get around to it, not on Thursday next week because you're off. I'm going to get out in the sun for half an hour or an hour. No, I'm telling you every single day of your life, get in the sun. If not, get in a tanning bed at least 4 to 5 times a week. That's 12 minutes of your day. Oh, I can't do that, Jimmy. That's 12 minutes. I am just so busy with TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I don't have time. But the problem is that you better start finding the time because that's what's killing you. I got a friend of mine right now that we're working with him on dementia, and he is a guy that's not very much older than I am, maybe about 10 years. And I finally got his business partner. His business partner really finally saw the light, and I have been trying to kind of work with him on this, but now I am full-fledged working with him on dementia and either stopping the progression or reversing the progression, because, by the way, dementia is a modern crime to the brain. It is salt deficiency. It is sugar overload. It is lack of sun, the sedentary under a roof life we have, where we stay inside of houses all of our life and never get in the sun. Oh, I was in the sun last year. I went to Florida for 2 weeks. There are 52 weeks in the year. What'd you do the other 50? Oh, I was fine. I got allergies. I'm sick. I can't be out in the sun all the time. Shut it. You're going to die. Guys, you're going to die without sun. And this is not a sun worshiper. This is not a voodoo bullshit. This is AMA. This is your body working. This is how it was created. Get in the sun and let the sun touch you. If you can't do the sun, at least get in a tanning bed, because the blue light that's in there creates the vitamin D, the hormone regulation, and the skin repair that you need. So start doing it. Absolutely start doing it. We got, so ahead. Linda says, I did too, until I found out the Mongolian or mongrels. Mongolians. Oh, Megalions? Morgul? What is that word, Linda? Going barefoot is my favorite pair of shoes, and they always fit and match. Well, absolutely. I'm not sure if you had a typo there, but yeah, it sucks the fact that we do have chemtrails and other things, but I'm not sure where you were going with that, but I do appreciate it. And bees, we need bees. Well, yes, I'm a beekeeper. I have 3 hives here on the property, and I do support, obviously, having bees and all that good stuff as well. So, okay, where are we at with the time? Okay, good stuff. Now, guys, the spiritual thing of things and how all this works outside of us. See, I could sit here and pour through all of this with you on all the different types of media and all these things, but here's the thing. If you're not here, it doesn't matter. If you're dead, if you're in a box, if you're dealing with, stupid allergies when all it takes is castor oil in your nose to get rid of your allergies because it's just a mold toxicity, if you can't bother to just do a little bit of castor oil every day, then why are you even here worrying about the future? Why are you here worrying about what may or may not come, because you're not going to be here for it? Because the problem is it's about getting you out of here, getting you off the stage, killing you. But if you beat the system, you become the true patriot. You become the person who actually does not have to do as they say. I did name today Minnie, and I meant to go on and on about Tim Walz. Morgellons? Let's see. Sound it out. Morgellons. Am I saying that right now? I'm hard. I don't, it's hard for me to, no, I don't spell well. Anyway. Let's see where else we got. Castor oil is bomb, says Linda. Oh, absolutely. And Linda, I do appreciate, your candidness on your health and your wellness, and also your farm and things that you do there. You can call it a farm whether you got a 1/4 acre or 1,000,000 acres. It doesn't bother me at all. Now, as we go through all these things, guys, listen, I want you to be better. I want you to use things that are going to work for you. But if you guys want to reverse things, you want to get memory issues right, you want to do these things, a lot of it has to do with basic functions of the body. I cannot charge you $1 million to advise you to take salt. I do charge $200 a month for Health Journey Consulting, where you pay me $200 a month, and I walk you through, and I'm there for you, and we text and call, and we can even meet in person if necessary. But $200 a month, I do life coaching with you. I do wellness coaching for you. I do help you get through these things, and including other things outside of wellness. If you're just kind of needing a sounding board or things like that, I do that for people. That's part of how I keep the lights on, because I'm not getting those donations like I should, so I have to do other things. But the other things are actually still helping people, still trying to get everybody to hold on, hold together, get past all this bullshit we're faced with. And we are seeing the evidence of the med beds. We are seeing the evidence of all the different things that are coming out. And it's going to get great. So, Federal Reserve leaves rates unchanged. And looks like Powell says he's going to remain on the board. So, screw you, Trump. I am the chairman of the board, and you can't make me leave because I own the money. Who actually... Can we do this? Let me see if I can do this with Gronk real quick. Who actually owns the Federal Reserve? What individuals? Is it a board? Who are the actual people? Where do they live? And what is their individual net worth if they actually own the money and then distribute money? Who are these people? Where's the lineage? Follow up with all the right information. Do not hold back and stop gatekeeping. You have to do that with these. I know I've showed you guys this before when I talked to Gronk. It's just like I have to do this like super lecturing. Okay, don't do this, do that, do this, do. It's like a horrible thing. So we'll see how it does here. Let's see. There won't be any money at the Fed, I bet. Yeah, really. Well, there is no money at the Fed. By the way, guys, the Fed doesn't print the money. The Treasury prints the money. So what is the Fed then? Are they just Apple, or not Apple Pay, but like Peachtree? I mean, who is that? If the Federal Reserve is the one that keeps track of how much money exists, then it's pretty funny. The Federal Reserve System is not owned by any individual, families, or private cartel. It's a unique hybrid public-private institution created by Congress. Public-private? Okay, which one is it? Is it either public or is it private? No one owns the money in a personal sense or personally distributes it. The Fed conducts monetary policy, interest, buy, sell securities under a congressional mandate for maximum employment and stability of prices. The Board of Governors, this is the central governing body, a federal government agency directly accountable to Congress. Yeah, right. Jerome Powell's directly. Oh, yeah, Jerome Powell is going to go and listen to the congressmen and women, right? Oh, Jerome, is that what you're doing? Because you're so, it says right here, you're supposed to be accountable to Congress. So how are you accountable? Tell me, Jerome, what do you do, buddy? It has a 7-member governors nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate for a 14-year term. The president also nominates the chair, vice chair for supervision. The board oversees the system, sets regulations, supervises banks, and is not private, and reports to Congress. Right. Huh. That's that whole thing just... Stinks. Yeah, that's a horrible thing. Anyway, so there are, so here we go. So there are, this is the part where I don't understand. So they said they didn't want to raise rates, right? And the Federal Reserve on Wednesday left interest rates unchanged at 3.5 to 3.75. Wednesday, Federal Open Markets Committee, FOMC, met. They were met with Jerome, and there was four dissenting from Jerome. Now, the sad part of it is that, we can all sit around and say, hey, Rebecca, good to see you. We can all say, oh, oh, yeah, things are going good and this and that. But, guys, we are in a weird position because I do believe that globally we can do whatever we want, but at home we should be able to do better. And the fact that this whole system is nothing but a cartel drop-down system where we are getting abused at the bottom end of the whole thing, I don't know, guys. There's something else going on. But Jerome Powell is supposedly supposed to be leaving, and I don't know why the other guy that was nominated hasn't been confirmed, other than Jerome Powell was under investigation. So they dropped that, but now we're still having this conversation of like, oh no, we're gonna keep Jerome around because it's been great 14 years with that dipshit. Anyway. All right, well, it's all a bunch of lies, so let's just keep lying to ourselves. No, lies are great. No, it's worked out so far. All right, guys. It's been good to see you. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far better place, right? When you think it'd be better if we were all a little bit nicer to each other, right? Remember, hold the line, hold fast, do not give up, do not give in. We will win. I promise. I promise I can't keep, guys. You always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution? Well, that Constitution limits the government, but never limits you. You make sure that you have the answer and make sure you're out there doing your best to do what you should as the owner of this country. We live in a constitutional representative republic. We do not live in a democracy. A democracy is elected leadership. It's also called socialism or communism. A republic is actually elected servants. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's good to see you guys. Oh, the things we do. What's today? Oh, by the way, guys, I am going to be off for the next 3 business days. I'll be off on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, unless something severely changes. But it looks like I will be traveling to Sedona to an event out there. Unless something changes, I'll let you know. Well, or I'll just be on air tomorrow. Right now, it looks like I will be traveling there tomorrow midday and be going to the event in Sedona. It's actually a pretty cool little event. It's talking about Tartaria. It's talking about the old world. It's talking about different things like that. So, but it's also spiritual wellness and all that good stuff too. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm Jim Price, Jim Price Show Daily Update.